welcome to Teat Talk episode 4. Anyway, we are talking about the history of the farm. Not my favorite subject, but it was fun. I'm going to talk about the first 1912 was when the farm came into the Slowey name. Grandma Tressa, her dad, she trusted him to go out and buy the farm, and he was driving by or riding his horse by. I'm not quite sure back in the day what it was, but he was going by the farm and saw that there was an auction going on, put in a bid, and believe it or not, he got it. So we appreciate that actually happened back in the day.
Yeah.
Tressa and Vincent, Grandpa Vincent, never got to meet him. Grandma Tressa, she kind of liked me, and we hung out pretty good. She was a lot of fun. The things I remember about her is she always used to make me cookies. You can see I did well on them, but I enjoyed them. We always had St. Patty's Day. You didn't, but my dad and I and Mom and all the employees had St. Patty's Day at the house that I live in now. So that was a lot of fun. She knew how to make good cookies. She was a teacher over at the schoolhouse, and when they first started the farm, they were milking 7 cows. Other than that, they were in a stanchion barn. They had a stanchion barn with them when they were milking and did all their own stuff. We were looking at some old milk checks that they got, and they were getting paid roughly about 60 cents for 100 pounds of milk, and so it's when it first started out. So moving on to the from 1912 to 1950 is when they kind of took it over, and then moving on to 1950, I'll let Alex tell you about that.
So Grandpa Bob and Grandma Julie took over the farm in 50s and 60s from Vincent and Tressa, and in 1960, sorry, I gotta read my notes here. 1969, they went from that stanchion barn to a actual regular milking parlor.
Single 6 surge parlor.
And is that the one I'm used to milking?
Yep.
I actually milked in that same parlor when I was a young kid. So
more than you're milking in this one.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
okay. We got better people to do that now. They do a great job.
So about that time, they were milking 80 to 100 cows when they moved into that new parlor, and then getting later in the 60s and then closer to 1970, Bob and Julie decided to get closer to retirement. They started feeding calves and doing different things at the farm, and kind of passed everything over to Grandpa Tim and Grandma Sue. I remember going up to Grandma Julie's house when I was a really young kid and grabbing her garbage, and she'd give me a bag of ginger snap cookies, and I still haven't found a ginger snap cookie that tastes as good as the ones she used to make.
They were delicious.
Except when she was getting a little older, she'd kind of forget some ingredients. So they sometimes would be a little interesting on what you were going to eat.
They'd be hard. You had to put them in the microwave.
Yeah.
They were still delicious.
Yes, they were. By 1970, they kind of decided they wanted to retire and pass the reins to Grandma and Grandpa Tim and Sue. But like I said, they still helped out, fed calves, drove their old Toyota around, and just saw what everything was going on.
So pretty much. And then when my mom and dad took over, they were in charge of pretty much everything on the farm. We were milking anywhere from, I was just getting out of high school, and we were milking 250 to 300 cows. My brother and my sister were involved a little bit. And then they decided to move on in 2000. We decided to expand, Mom and Dad and I, and build a larger parlor, the parlor we're in today, which is a double 24. When we first built it, it was a double 16 parallel parlor, and we milked, the day we left the other old parlor and moved up here, we were at 380 cows, and within a couple months we were at 800 cows. So my parents were kind of in charge of doing all that and taking care of all that, and expanding, help. We worked together in the expansion, and they were in charge of all the stuff doing that. There's a noise. We have to take a break.
It's the
I'm
washer
sorry.
in the back.
And we're back. So my parents my mom and dad, when they were kind of doing things, my mom would work in town a little bit at the grocery store. Then she'd come home, do a little bit of milking, and then got to the point where I got involved. She quit working in town, just took care of the books, would help out here and there with the milking. When we moved up to the new facility, then she did that. She was basically a book person, taking care of all the books, and my dad and I, and my brother was involved then, took care of the day-to-day operations, and then in about 2010, we expanded again to where I took care of all the cows, and my dad took care of the crops. In 2014, Alex graduated high school, went to college. Best movies ever made, going to college. And then we took care of things with the hopes that someday maybe he'd come back if he wanted to. And to this day, now we've kind of passed on from my parents. Both have retired, Tim and Sue. I appreciate everything they've done, and to now where Dawn and I take care of the day-to-day operations, and Alex and Maddie are involved quite a bit now. So he'll talk about the new generation.
Yep, so back to the college thing. The only good thing I got out of college was a wife. And yes, my wife is behind the camera holding a sign up for me to say that. So in about 2019, 2020, he took over mainly the farm, being the primary boss, I would guess you would say. Manager.
Sounds more important.
Yeah. And I came back from college. What year did I graduate? 2018 or 2019. Came back to the farm full time. And at that time, you were kind of phasing out of the herdsman for the most part. And I was coming in, learning the crops, learning cows, kind of doing everything. And now we split, I guess.
Split the crops.
Yeah.
You take care of a lot of that, and I kind of manage pretty much the whole farm. Maddie takes care of it.
She's in charge of the employees now, so he's much more pleasant to be around.
Yes.
My mother is now in charge of the books, and she really likes it when I buy new things.
Yeah, that's always fun. So the future, I mean, obviously we're moving forward, looking to do some cool things coming up. Still selling the beef. If anybody wants some beef, let us know. Any questions, please hit them up at the website. We'll try to answer them as much as we can. If you got any questions about the history of the farm. The one thing I think that they both, my dad and my grandpa, and I don't know about Grandma Tressa, but they liked their Jameson. My dad and Grandpa Bob did. And believe it or not, after my dad quit drinking the Jameson, it pretty much stopped. We don't drink it very often, but we decided to get one to toast them and to kind of see what they're really talking about. Because the only time I like drinking is these when they're in Irish car bombs. So.
And one thing, going back to Grandpa Bob, he would drink whiskey. He called it neat with no ice because he thought the ice would kill you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a shot of straight whiskey with no ice. And
see how it is.
So here's the
cheers,
Bob and Tim.
Bob and Tim. Oh, no wonder that nasty. I got a good cold, so maybe it'll clean me up. But yeah, I don't know why they drink that. But I'm glad I don't. So we appreciate everybody following along on Teat Talks. We'll get back into them here. Busy season's coming up. We got our sand separators just about done. We're gonna do some neat beef things coming up. Spring's coming around the corner. It's gonna start to stink pretty soon in the community. We're very sorry and apologize ahead of time.
Hauling manure and planting corn, and
summer, the busy time of the year. We're busy all the time, but the real busy time of the year is starting to come. So,
yeah.
Anything else to add about the history?
All right, so that's about it.
I appreciate everybody checking it out. thank you to our people that started the farm before us. We appreciate it because we get to do what I love to do, and my wife is learning how to love every day and enjoy it every day. So it's pretty neat. We get to work. I get to farm every day. So especially with my family.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
So thank you very much. Have a great day.
Peace.